Welcome back to our channel. Today we have a bone-chilling treat for you. We've scoured the darkest corners of the internet to bring you 3 true spine-tingling tales of people's encounters while being home alone. Our first terrifying tale transports us to a quiet suburban neighborhood where the ordinary facade of a quaint home conceals the horror that unfolded within. Let's call the homeowner Sarah, a young woman who, on one fateful evening, found herself alone and unaware that her solitude would soon transform into a living nightmare. Picture a chilly autumn night where the leaves rustled with each gust of wind and the moon cast eerie shadows. Sarah was nestled on her living room couch, engrossed in a thrilling novel, blissfully unaware of the unsettling events about to transpire. As Sarah's eyes scanned the pages, she was suddenly interrupted by a faint noise emanating from the kitchen. Her heart quickened, and a shiver crawled down her spine. It sounded like the soft but unmistakable creaking of footsteps. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for the source of the sound. Uncertain but vigilant, Sarah reached for her phone and dialed 911. The dispatcher's reassuring voice was a lifeline in the ominous silence. Sarah felt her fear begin to morph into a determination to survive this ordeal. With the dispatcher guiding her, Sarah cautiously edged her way towards the kitchen, her grip on the phone tight. Her other hand gripped a kitchen knife, a weapon of necessity. The dispatcher's steady voice was a constant presence in her ear, urging her to stay calm. As Sarah drew closer to the kitchen, she couldn't believe her eyes. There, bathed in moonlight, stood a stranger. The intruder, face concealed by a menacing hoodie, was inches away, fumbling with the window latch, a diabolical determination in their eyes. Fear surged through Sarah as she realized the intruder was making a calculated attempt to break into her home. She was trapped with only the dispatcher as her ally, helping her navigate this nightmarish encounter. Sarah stealthily retreated from the kitchen and made her way to the front door, her every movement echoing the pulse of adrenaline coursing through her veins. With the dispatcher still on the line, she fled to her neighbor's house, feeling the haunting presence of the intruder trailing her. Moments later, the reassuring sight of police officers arrived, ready to apprehend the intruder who had terrorized Sarah. It was then revealed that the intruder had a chilling history of break-ins in the neighborhood, but it was Sarah's quick thinking and courage that saved her life that fateful night. Sarah's ordeal was a stark reminder that danger could lurk just beyond the doorstep, even in the seemingly idyllic surroundings of a suburban neighborhood. Her bravery in the face of an intruder serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit when confronted with the most frightening of circumstances. And there you have it, the chilling account of Sarah's home alone nightmare. Her experience reminds us that safety can swiftly transform into dread and that we should always remain vigilant, especially in the haven of our own homes. Our second tale takes us to a remote, centuries-old farmhouse steeped in history and rumored to be haunted. The Smith family, a couple in their golden years, decided to embark on a brief vacation, leaving their daughter Emily in charge of the ancestral property. As her parents' car disappeared down the winding dirt road, Emily couldn't shake off the eerie stories they had recounted about their farmhouse being haunted. Skeptical by nature, she brushed off these tales as mere superstition. The first night alone in the old farmhouse began like any other. Emily was in her room, her heart pounding softly from both the ancient creaking floors and the anticipation of being alone in such a colossal, eerie structure. It was a stormy night, with the rain battering the windows and the wind howling through the centuries-old trees outside. But as the evening wore on, the tranquility of her solitude began to give way to the unsettling sensation that she was not alone. At first, she brushed off the strange noises, attributing them to the old house settling and the weather's fury. But soon, these peculiar disturbances became impossible to ignore. Footsteps echoed in empty hallways, and whispering voices seemed to travel through the walls. Panic slowly crawled up her spine as she realized that she was not alone in the farmhouse as she had initially thought. She couldn't dismiss it as her imagination any longer. Emily's inquisitiveness got the better of her, and with a trembling hand, she grabbed a flashlight and cautiously ventured into the dark, labyrinthine corridors of the house. Each step seemed to resonate with echoes from the past, making her feel like an intruder in her own home. She descended the stairs where the eerie occurrences seemed to intensify. Objects moved on their own, pictures fell from the walls, and doors opened and closed without explanation. The old farmhouse seemed to have awakened, as if it had a story to tell, and Emily was trapped in its enigmatic narrative. Terrified and desperate, Emily decided to call her parents. Their voices on the other end of the line provided a thread of comfort in the tapestry of fear. They were as baffled and concerned as she was, and they made the long drive back home. But here's where the mystery deepens. As soon as her parents returned to the farmhouse, the paranormal activity appeared to cease. It was as if the spirits that had been haunting the old structure had retreated back into the shadows. They all huddled together in the living room, waiting for the dawn to break and for the sun's first rays to illuminate the mysterious farmhouse. But the inexplicable events that occurred that night were etched into Emily's memory, leaving her with an enduring uncertainty about the inexplicable forces that resided in her family's ancestral home. Our third bone-chilling tale takes us to a quiet suburban neighborhood where an ordinary family found themselves thrust into a nightmare when a seemingly innocuous phone call turned their peaceful evening into a terror-filled ordeal. Picture this, a serene evening where the Parker family, a household of 4, were going about their usual routines. The parents, Mark and Linda, were seated in the living room, engrossed in a movie, while their 2 young children, Alex and Lily, were frolicking and playing in the room adjacent. As the night wore on, an unexpected interruption shattered their domestic tranquility. The landline phone in the kitchen suddenly rang, a jarring intrusion, as their number was rarely used for calls. The caller ID displayed "unknown caller," a cryptic and unsettling sign. Mark picked up the phone, his curiosity mixed with a touch of unease. The voice on the other end was chilling, a sinister whisper that sent shivers down his spine. The voice said, "I can see you," the words dripping with malevolence. A cold wave of fear coursed through Mark and Linda as they exchanged alarmed glances. The ominous voice continued, "I know you're alone. You should lock all the doors and windows. I can get in anytime I want." Terrified, Mark hung up the phone, his hands trembling. The room was filled with dread as the words hung heavy in the air. It was clear that the caller was watching their every move, privy to their vulnerable state and the fact that they were home alone. As Mark and Linda exchanged whispered concerns, they rushed to check on their children, Alex and Lily, who remained blissfully unaware of the ominous call. Their laughter and playful voices were a stark contrast to the menacing words they had just heard. In a state of growing panic, Mark secured all the doors and windows, his fear intensifying with each click of a lock. The possibility that someone was watching them, lurking in the shadows, was a nightmare scenario they couldn't ignore. The voice on the other end of the line continued its sinister taunts, making chilling and specific threats about their children. It was clear that the caller was not only malevolent, but disturbingly informed about the family's situation and layout of their home. The sense of dread that pervaded the household was unbearable, and Linda dialed 911 as Mark attempted to keep their children calm. The police were dispatched to their location, and the dispatcher stayed on the line, providing reassurance and guidance. The disturbing call persisted for several harrowing minutes, and then, abruptly, it stopped. The room was filled with eerie silence as the connection went dead. The police arrived shortly thereafter, but an extensive search yielded no trace of the mysterious caller. To this day, the Parkers remain haunted by the chilling experience, never discovering the identity of the caller or the reason their family was targeted. It was an ordeal that forever etched the fear of the unknown into their hearts. And there you have it, the spine-tingling account of the Parker family's terrifying ordeal. Their story serves as a chilling reminder that safety can be shattered in an instant, and the threat of the unknown can strike even in the sanctuary of our homes. If you enjoyed these spine-tingling stories, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more hair-raising content. And remember, when you're home alone, it's not always just a feeling. Sometimes you might not be as alone as you think. Be as